machine gun baby. Shall I say it?
CameraLegend.com.
What is going down, you awesome photography geeks? We are back today, and today I actually had an episode that I was planning to do for you guys on Flashback Friday, camera stores, old school camera stores. But a friend of mine came and visited me yesterday and showed up with a EOS RP. Alright, now in case you don't know, that's the entry-level camera in the EOS R family, and shot this video of me. Basically trying to convince me that I should use a serious camera most of the time. And I do understand, I am trying to go that route for you guys. But anyway, after seeing the EOS RP, it made me more interested in this EOS R3 that's coming out. Now just like you guys, all I know is what I've read and what I've seen right here on YouTube, right? So although this channel has been mostly film centric, I've made it no secret that I love digital, you know. I was old enough to grow up on film and appreciate film, but at the same time I was young enough when digital came around to actually appreciate it, you know, and to see where it was taking us. So, I mean, for example, like for your Flashback Friday, right here, here's a Nikon D1 from the year 1999, right? One of my favorite all-time digital cameras. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you, I mean, you know, any camera today or even your phone is gonna do a better job, but for me, what I like about the D1 is that it brings me back to that time. Like when it first came out in 1999, I remember looking up DP Review and Phil Askey was doing the reviews, and man, I would like dream about this camera, and maybe like 5 years later, like in the mid 2000s, I was able to get one, and I was so thrilled. So it brings me back to that time when I feel that digital was really exciting, and every time they upped the megapixels or added new features, we were all so excited. But today, I mean, these cameras are exciting too, but they can do almost anything, so it's not quite as exciting to me as the discovery, you know, of something new, like when these cameras were building up, right? So like I said, you know, I have nothing against digital, and that's why we're talking about the EOS R3 today. And as far as I can see on YouTube, maybe like 2 guys have stood next to them in the flesh, and even folks like B&H, from what I can see in their videos, they're just showing you the official pictures, like what I'm doing right now. But you know, looking over the specs, this looks like a phenomenal phone. No. My first impression was, damn, that's a big sucker. And I just had to laugh, man. I was like, wow, man, they just went right back to this EOS 1 styled body. Now I don't know if you remember when I did an episode on mirrorless cameras versus DSLRs, and I said that the big dogs, Canon and Nikon, they just can't stop making these big ass cameras. It's another big badass camera, and so you know what this means, guys? This means that long live the DSLR, baby! The big badass cameras rule, yeah! And this is a great example, once again, of that. Although I will say, Nikon seems to be going the right step with that ZFC, which I hope to talk about in a future episode. But getting back to the EOS R3, I was just thinking, isn't the whole point of mirrorless to have smaller bodies and smaller lenses? So if you not have a big ass body, like a big ass EOS 1 type body for the R3, plus some pretty beautiful and big ass looking lenses, then what's the difference, man, really? I mean, I know there are advantages, of course, to mirrorless, but one of the big advantage for me is the weight, to save on the weight. I mean, when I was a younger man, yeah, I loved carrying these big ass cameras, but at the same time, you know, we didn't have much of a choice. But now that we do have a choice with these mirrorless cameras, is it really necessary to make such big ass cameras? And you know what though, in Canon's defense, I will say that it's in their DNA. You know, I mean, basically the EOS 1 series has always been their showpiece. That is their pride and joy, and everything they do pretty much comes back to that. And so, you know, I read a theory somewhere, and I don't know if you guys have heard of this, but I agree with this. Now, growing up, I was always that skinny kid. You know, in science class, they would come out with a skeleton, and some kids would go, "Sam." Anyway, it wasn't so funny when I was younger, but now that I'm older, I don't really care that much. But anyway, that theory basically says that your body is comfortable with what it knows, and when you try to change it, it will always try to come back to what it knows. So for example, the great Luther Vandross, I don't know if you remember him, but a great R&B singer who passed away sadly. He was always a big guy, but then he tried to drop the weight. Every time he would drop the weight, it would come back. Then he would drop it again, and it would come back, and that yo-yo effect basically killed him because his body couldn't take it anymore. Anyway, so that's what I'm trying to, that's why you see, I mean, there are exceptions, people who have gone beyond what they should have been able to do, but notice how some fat guys, they can never get thin. Every time they get thin, they look funny, or they have to get some kind of gastric bypass to help them get thin. Just same as me. Every time I tried to gain weight, it would work for a little bit. The minute I stopped concentrating on it, or the minute I let up on eating so much, went right back to being skinny. So same thing right here with Canon. They're used to making these big ass cameras. Those cameras, like the EOS 1 series, are a source of pride for them. And so I see it right here with the EOS R3. Maybe there are other technical reasons why they needed to make such a huge big ass camera. Like maybe, for example, I know with the R5 they have problems with overheating when you do videos. So maybe they got a bigger heat sink or something. I don't know. I mean, I don't know all the technicalities of it, but just my theories. Anyway, maybe that's one of the reasons. Or also they said it's weather sealed. It's made for pro sports and I guess pro press photographers. Sounds a lot like the EOS 1 series, doesn't it? Anyway, I'm not here to break on the R3. I mean, I would love to get my hands on that camera. Now, you know, I'm not the guy for the latest and greatest, but if this thing is really that good, man, I would be tempted to get rid of a lot of my cherished items. And well, you know what though, I'm not sure if I would do that though, but yeah, maybe I'll work my ass off for another year and try to get one of those cameras. Anyway, those are just my thoughts. I would love to hear your thoughts on the EOS R3. Leave them down in the comment section. Anyway, I'm gonna go, but I'm gonna leave you off with my camera store stories. Now, I'm still working on the next big video, but for now, this is for your entertainment, for Flashback Friday. I want you guys to think about those good old days when you used to walk into those camera stores, maybe as a college student, and you had it in mind what you wanted to get, and all of a sudden you came out and you overspent yourself, or you maxed out your credit card getting something else. Anyway, this is me channeling some of my experiences into this. So don't forget to comment, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for more camera legends, and there are plenty more camera legends coming your way. And without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Mr. Harry J. Shyster. Welcome to Uncle Harry's Camera Shop. How may I help you? I'm looking for a camera. What kind of camera you looking for? The Sony A6500. Why would you want that? Well, it's an okay camera, you know what I mean? But let me ask you a question. Are you a pro or an amateur? I'm an amateur, but I want to be a pro. Well, if you want to be a pro, then I would recommend the Sony A1 or the A9. Well, your A6500 is an APS-C sensor. You want the one with a big sensor. That's what differentiates the pro from the rank amateur. It's out of my budget. I can't afford it. You can't afford it? Sure you can. You got a job? Yeah. You got a job, you got the camera. If you sign up right now, I'll give you the best deal possible. 6 months, interest-free if you pay it off in 6 months. Well, I'm a student working at Subway, man. I can't possibly pay it off in 6 months. Can I think about it? All right, well, think about it, but don't take too long because a deal like that ain't gonna last. Can I ask you a question? Anybody ever told you look like Gabe Carter from Welcome Back, Carter? Get out of here. YouTube channel.
CameraLegend.com